So in today's module, we are going to be discussing the optimal bedroom. So what exactly should be expected when you are following the peak performance way, but when it comes to your bedroom and your furniture and the routines that are involved within that. So what we're going to cover exactly is why optimizing your bedroom is absolutely critical for relaxation and quality sleep, how large furniture and clutter could be the thing that's keeping you up at night when everything else has been fixed or adjusted, the importance of clean air and proper humidity, and then the best material for bedding and sheets, because the devil's in the details, and more often than not, a lot of people don't really think about their bedding or the things that are touching their skin, every single night, because every time you lay in your bed and you're touching these sheets, your skin is having direct contact. It's absorbing any molecules, any particles that are found on those sheets, and more often than not, they are inorganic, so they can cause irritation. The first thing I want to cover is the 2 S's. So when it comes to sleep in your bedroom, less is more. Now I say the only thing that should be happening in your bedroom is sex and sleep. So private time, whatever you want to do in your private time, and sleeping. And the reason being is because every time you walk into a room, your brain is creating neural pathways, because your brain uses up so much energy that it will find a shortcut or the least barrier of resistance when doing things. And so that includes walking into a room. So every time you walk into your bathroom, you don't even think about it. It's just on autopilot. You go in, you brush your teeth, you go to the restroom, you take a shower. That's it. You come out and you do the next thing. The same thing happens with your bedroom. So if you are in this really bad habit of checking your emails, doing soft work, doing anything else in communications with your team in your bed or in somewhere in your bedroom, if you have your whole desk set up here, which I highly do not recommend, your brain is going to go straight to that action, and it's not going to go straight to sleep or sex. And your brain is going to be muddled in that sense with not knowing what to do, and that relationship gets more distant as the neural pathways get more solidified. So I recommend keeping all technology out. So no TVs, no video games, no computers, no desk in there. I don't want any sort or any glimpse of work in there. And then keeping your laptop out of your bedroom as well. There should be no reason for that. I always recommend, if you are trying to wind down or watch something, do it in your living room. Do it in an area where you feel comfortable, watching TV, playing video games, whatever. That can be your area of downtime or entertainment. And then as soon as you start getting tired, migrate up to your bed and fall asleep instantly, because then every time you enter your bedroom or you lay down in your bed, you're strengthening that bond, that safe feeling with your bed. So falling asleep is tremendously easier. Now, another thing to keep in mind is your subconscious. So how does your subconscious come into play when it comes to optimizing your bedroom? Now, the biggest thing I have to say is clutter. Clutter is by far the biggest stressor to the subconscious, because when you are introduced to clutter, your brain doesn't know where to look, what to focus on. And that's why I put up this picture, because it's really hard to focus on the words and actually, absorb the meaning or understand it to its fullest, because this whole picture is just kind of pulling your focus in multiple different directions. It's hard to focus on the words or the point I'm trying to get across. And the same thing applies to your subconscious. So when it comes to your bedroom and your office or any living area that you spend quite a bit of time in, even though your monkey brain or your conscious mind is okay with clutter, because let's say you're just naturally a more messy person, you're always on the go, that doesn't mean your subconscious is. So your subconscious mind via the limbic system, so if you remember in week 1 or week 2, when we talk about the entrepreneurial brain and how your brain has different regions, your limbic system, or the lizard, is the part of the brain that is always looking for a threat, always looking for stressors, things that could be life-threatening or can cause stress in your life. And so if you have a bedroom or an office that is full of clutter, that is a stressor to your subconscious mind, because you can't focus on things. It's subconsciously trying to clean it, even though your conscious mind is okay with it. So it's better just to keep the area clean, clear of clutter, so your brain doesn't have a hard time focusing and it's not in a stressful environment. And another thing is large furniture. So if you have a bedroom, let's say you have your bed, This is your headboard, your little pillow. Let's say you have a gigantic mirror just hung up on the wall right there. If you are laying in bed like this, even though you think it's really pretty, it might be, really aesthetically pleasing in your bedroom, your subconscious mind might think that that could fall on you one day. Same with having like bookshelves above your bed with like little things on it, like little plants and stuff. Or perhaps you have a big, chandelier hanging above your bed. All of these things could be damaging to the subconscious mind. They could be very distracting, very unnecessary when it comes to the optimal bedroom and biohacking your space. So what I recommend is keeping your room extremely simple. So maybe having your bed, maybe a nightstand next to it with a lamp, maybe 2 of them, and then that's basically it. So maybe a headboard and then obviously all your bedding on top. But that's basically all you want in your bedroom. It should be very simple, no technology, no bookshelves with tons of books, because even that can be inspiring. Maybe it's not damaging or threatening to the subconscious, but things that get you inspired, things that are bright, maybe poppy colors, things in paintings, artwork on the wall, bookshelves with tons of books that you haven't read yet. All of these things can be super exciting because they are things that can still be explored and things that get your creativity going, which are things that are great. And that's why I recommend putting that in your office. So if you have an office space, putting your books down there, putting all of your cool artwork down there. You want to keep your room dark, safe, and quiet. Like this should be your safe space. Now, bedroom ergonomics. So when it comes to your bedroom, the 2 things I recommend focusing on the most that will bring you the best ROI is light manipulation and bedroom temperature. So if there are only 2 things you focus when it comes to your bedroom, it is light manipulation and bedroom temperature, as well as keeping it simple. So less is definitely more. So keep all the decorations, keep all the artwork out, keep all of the fancy furniture, headboards, heavy mirrors, whatever it is. Keep it super simple. But focus on the bedroom temperature. So make sure that it's between, I would say, 62 and 68 degrees. I think that's 15 Celsius to 20 Celsius. That's the temperature range that you want for your room. And then as well as light manipulation. So I won't go into this too much because in this week, module 1 is all about light manipulation. So you can go back and watch that. It's all about red light therapy, light bulbs, things that are optimal for the bedroom and for the red light panels. But light manipulation is super important because light and food is information. So how your body knows what time it is through meal times, being introduced to bright lights or dark lights. And so based off that, your body knows what time of day it is. Now, if you don't have your lights properly optimized and you have all these bright lights in your room that are emitting blue light, that's going to tell your body it's high noon, which obviously we don't want because let's say it's 10 p.m., it's evening, you want to get ready for bed. Your melatonin isn't going to go off if you don't have the correct lighting. So what I recommend for that is going back, watching the module on light manipulation, because we talk all about Himalayan salt lamps, other light fixtures that you can put in your bedroom, red light bulbs, the whole 9 yards. So definitely go check it out. Now, as I said earlier, devil is in the details. So now after you've addressed bedroom temperature as well as light manipulation, you want to look at the things following that. So bedding and sheets, your air quality, the plants in your room, and then supplementation. So when it comes to supplements, we are actually saving this for week 8 because when it comes to the peak performance ideology and our methods, we actually don't believe in supplementation as a forefront, as the first thing to go to when you're trying to fix your sleep. So that's why we put supplements in week 8, the very last week, because after you've implemented everything that we have discussed from week 1 all the way up to week 7, you shouldn't need supplements, but of course there's always that gray area for the certain individuals that still need them. And so we save that for week 8, but right now we're going to go over bedding and sheets. So when it comes to bedding and the materials of the sheets, the duvet covers, the items that are touching your skin every single night you sleep for 8 hours, those are extremely important because if you are getting, synthetic material like polyester that's been treated with chemicals and you're sleeping on that every single night, your skin will absorb that. Your skin will, because there are medications, magnesiums, things that are topical where you put them on your skin and your body absorbs them. So why would it not do that with synthetic chemicals on untreated materials such as polyester. So there's a couple materials that I recommend and a couple that I don't. Now, the ones I do recommend is always go for organic because they won't be treated with the heavy chemicals, with the flame retardants, and those ones are organic cotton, organic hemp, which is also a antibacterial, which is great for being resistant to harboring bacteria, and then organic linen and wool. Now, there's a couple different attributes when it comes to these, and I would say if you are a really hot sleeper and you run hot and you live in a hot environment, definitely go for organic linen because this is more breathable, it's more temperature regulated. Now, all of these are super durable, they're all pretty soft. I would say some wool ones can be more itchy, but for the most part, organic cotton, hemp, and linen are all super soft and you can't go wrong with them. I would say the only thing is if you are temperature sensitive, getting organic linen will be the best bet if you run hot. Now, the couple that I don't recommend is silk and polyester. So the reason why I don't recommend polyester is because, again, it is usually treated with heavy chemicals, it's synthetic, and I don't really think it's the best, especially when you have organic cotton, hemp, and linen as other options. And then silk, I don't know if any of you guys have slept with silk sheets, but the second you get hot and a little sweaty, they are the worst. The silk will stick to your skin and cling to it, and it's not breathable whatsoever. So I don't recommend silk for that reason. I've heard really bad things about people sleeping with it, and it's just the worst, especially in the summer months. So for year-round best sheets, these are the ones I usually recommend. Now, when it comes to the thread count and different, types of materials within organic linen and cotton, there's a couple other things I recommend as well. So I know thread count can be super confusing, but usually when it comes to thread count, it basically means how many threads are in a 1 inch square. So how many threads are running through it in this pattern. Now, usually people have this belief that the higher the thread count, the more expensive, the more bougie, the more softer. But if you're actually looking for softness and comfort, I usually recommend anywhere between 300 to 500 because I've noticed that it's budget friendly, it's super soft, and the more you go up, so when you go up into the 1,000 range for thread count, you're going to have more threads in that 1 inch square and it's going to be tighter. So the threads are going to be closer together, they're going to be tighter, and the material is going to be more stiff. The higher the thread count doesn't mean always the softest. Now, one sheet that I could recommend is called the New Jersey. Now, this almost feels like an old t-shirt. It's super soft, it's super stretchy, it's super breathable, and I personally really find enjoyment in this one, and I couldn't really recommend it enough because it kind of ticks all the boxes with being super soft, super stretchy, and it usually comes in organic cotton or hemp. Now, when it comes to your bedroom and plants, I would say by far the best plant to focus on is the snake plant. Now, you can have multiple of these. A lot of our clients have anywhere from 2 to 3 of these in their bedroom just because they're so amazing. Now, there's a couple other plants that do have benefits such as the snake plant, but the reason why I bring this one up is because it is by far the best one in my opinion and the only one that people should really focus on. So the reason why I like the snake plant so much is because it is great at producing oxygen. Now, the reason being is because this is the only plant that does photosynthesis during the daytime and the nighttime. Most plants only do it during the day when the sunlight is out. Now, the snake plant does that during the nighttime. So even throughout the night, it's absorbing the CO2 and it's producing more oxygen, which is amazing because it's doing this 24 hours. It's super easy to take care of and it removes air pollutants, it looks nice, and it's effective against allergies because it's really good at cleaning the air. So some pollutants that the snake plant removes from the air includes benzene, xylene, trichloroethylene, and formaldehyde. Now, the reason why air quality is so important when it comes to sleep is because it's actually been known that the air within your household is 4 to 5 times, even up to 10 times more polluted than the air outside. And you're like, how is this possible? It's because our houses are constantly bombarded with synthetic chemicals. And some of those chemicals are found in paints, wood preservatives, aerosol sprays, cleaners, air fresheners, stored fuels and auto products, hobby supplies, and dry cleaned clothing. Now, some of the most common ones as toxic gases are VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, and PBDEs, polybrominated diphenyl ethers. And studies find that most houses in the United States will have some sort of sign that they have VOCs or PBDEs present in the household. Almost every single one does, because the United States has not put a ban on many of these chemicals where Europe and places in Asia actually have. Now, some signs of these chemicals or what happens when you get poor air quality is it can irritate the eyes, nose, and throat and cause shortness of breath. It can aggravate asthma and other respiratory conditions and affect the heart and cardiovascular system. So breathing polluted air for long periods of time can actually cause more serious problems. These are only the short-term effects. Now, the solution to avoid VOCs and PBDEs is either getting snake plants or a quality air purifier. Now, most of the time I recommend both, but either one will work. I think plants are amazing. I think they're great at reducing stress. Now, if this is something you're interested in finding a snake plant or air purifiers, links for both of these items will be found in the first week under the Peak Performance purchase products. Now, pulling it all together. So just as a summary or a recap of what to find in the optimal bedroom for peak performance, peak productivity, is you want to make sure your bedroom is dark. So blackout curtains, things that can cover your windows from keeping sun in if you're trying to sleep past the time the sun rises, keeping it cool and safe as well. So when it comes to working in your bedroom, you're going to release cortisol because work brings up stress, whether you realize it or not. And cortisol is antagonistic to melatonin. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So if you are releasing cortisol in a certain environment, you're not going to feel safe in it. You're going to feel threatened, and your limbic system is going to be on the lookout. It's going to be active. And you can't fall asleep if your limbic system, the lizard brain, is on the lookout. And then you also want it to be cool as well. So if you live in a hot climate, I definitely recommend getting a AC unit. And if the AC unit dries out the air, definitely get a humidifier. Get the moisture back into the air, as well as getting a snake plant. If you have those three things covered, then you should be all set to go. Now, if you live in a more mild climate where your bedroom or the place you live in is on the cooler side, but you still need some more airflow, just getting a fan by your outdoor window, blowing fresh air in does the trick. It usually does wonders to keep fresh air from coming in and to avoid the VOCs from getting at a higher level that could be dangerous for you.